You're listening to Subculture. Well, now I want to take a look at a brand new theatre production that I've got to say I am very, very excited has finally come to Melbourne. A few years ago, I heard about this production called The Grinning Man, which was taking Britain by storm at that time. I tend to read a few of the British reviews of plays and musicals that are around, and everybody was talking about this production called The Grinning Man, which of course is based on a novel written by the same person that wrote Les Mis. So it's got a little bit of cred to this. Now, what I was hearing out of Britain was that it was a dark fairy tale that was told in a way that you just wouldn't expect. It was kind of Shakespearean in a sense, but tragic and yeah, dark fairy tale was the words that kind of drew me in. Now, I thought I was going to have to go to England one day to see it. I thought that would be the only way that I would see it. It was getting a cult following in England, and it ended up being making it to the West End. That's how popular it became. It was getting mixed reviews. It's actually really weird. It was getting rave reviews, but everybody likes to say mixed reviews because there was a few people out there, and I'm sure there'll be people here in Melbourne as well, that this is just not their style of theatre. So they give it a bad review. But look, this is interesting. And now, as I said, I never thought I would ever get to see it in Australia, but we are now here in Melbourne, the first city in the world to have a production of Grinning Man outside of England, which is actually a pretty big thing to have happen. Even bigger is the fact that it's actually being held in a theatre, an up and coming kind of theatre here in Melbourne, the Alex Theatre, which was restored a few years ago and has been trying to get it's been getting some alternative shows, but it's really good that it's finally got a show like The Grinning Man that's kind of got a lot of people wanting to go along. Now I went along on opening night, and it was absolutely packed. I have to say it's the first time I've seen the Alex Theatre completely full, and I was so glad because we need to support theatres like that. Now, a little bit about The Grinning Man. Like I said, it is a dark fairy tale. Now, it's told through the eyes of a dark clown, almost a Joker-esque kind of clown called Barkilphedro, and played by Jennifer Vuletic. She sets this tale of this dark kind of London that's a little bit different to what we would know it as. But basically, it tells the story of Grinpain, played by Maxwell Simon, and Dia, played by Louisa Scrofani. Now, what happens is Grinpain, years and years ago, somebody cut his mouth almost again like the Joker, in such a way that he is constantly grinning, but it is grotesque. So he keeps his face covered. He's constantly in pain and has absolutely no idea who did this to him. Now, he and Dia were rescued by Ursus, played by Dom Henquin, because the young Grinpain saw his mother go onto a ship that then became shipwrecked in a massive storm, and he found this baby with this woman who was dying. Meanwhile, Ursus lost his wife and daughter in the same incident. So he kind of takes these two in. Now, he gives Grinpain this elixir to help with the pain and the emotional trauma that he is going through, and that's the only thing that keeps Grinpain going. On the flip side of that, there's also the royal family. There's Princess Josiana, played by Melanie Bird, who is a bit of a sexually free princess, loves going to orgies and things like that, and is always looking for men to pleasure her. Then there's Lord Diary Muir, played by Anthony Craig, a free-loving kind of prince that likes to go to the seedier sides of London, and that's where he first meets Grinpain in this production. Now, their world is kind of shook when the king passes away, and Queen Angelica rises to the throne, played by Stephanie Astrid John, and it is there that this dark fairy tale takes over. There's a love triangle. There's secrets being held everywhere. People wanting to rise to ambition, things like that. Now, that's where this production I think is different to anything else you will see. If you're expecting this to be like Les Mis because it is based on a Victor Hugo novel, then you're going to be completely shocked. This is kind of like a Shakespearean comedy in a sense. The clown character is over the top with the way that it tells the story, swears at the audience. The cast come down into the audience at different times during the production. But all of that works really, really well. It makes the audience feel like you're actually there and watching this play that Grinpain and Ursus and Dia are actually putting together. So it actually works in that sense. But I know that kind of theatre is not for everybody. There's going to be people going along and going, why is this clown swearing at me, and things like that. So it's going to be a play that you kind of got to be into that thing. But look, one of the reasons I love Shakespeare is because today's Shakespeare is seen as a glamorous kind of thing. But back in those times, in the 15, 16, 1700s, theatre was often held in two different spots. There would be theatre for the elite and the rich, and then there would be theatre for the everyday person. And that to me is what The Grinning Man feels like. It's theatre for the everyday person. It's not pompous and proper. This is deliberate, but when some of the singers are singing some of the songs, they'll miss a note and things like that. It's all deliberate to try and get a laugh. You have to understand that before you go to see The Grinning Man. If you don't get that, then you are not going to enjoy this show. You're not going to enjoy the fact that things like that happen. But look, this is a very, very good production. I really, really loved The Grinning Man. Like I said, well, the reason I love it is because it feels like theatre for the everyday person, but done so well. This is the kind of theatre that I imagine that Shakespeare would have wanted back in his day. And like, there's a whole bunch of playwrights that I love, August Strindberg, people like that. They did these kind of plays so that people could have fun going to the theatre. Is this play laughing at the royal family? Yeah, it is. Because there's so many absurd things, like there's jokes about the royal family incest and things like that in this production. And that's exactly what, back in those days, those kinds of playwrights did. They wanted people to be able to go out and laugh. And yes, okay, some playwrights got in trouble for writing stuff like that. But this to me it feels old fashioned, but in a good way. And I loved it. I loved the performances by the various actors as well. I do want to do one shout out to one character that I absolutely loved, and that was the wolf Mojo. That was puppeteered by a very, very talented man called Cameron Bajatavik Hayward, who is also the cellist and the dance captain in this production as well. But look, it is a fun night out. If you want to go and see The Grinning Man, you are going to love this. If you love a good time in the theatre, you will really enjoy it. If you love kind of serious old style literature, you will really enjoy this as well. I actually can't wait to go back and see this. I want to go back and see it again because I just absolutely love The Grinning Man. There is so much to love about the set. Everything works. The lighting, the music, and I disagree with some of the reviewers overseas that have said that this hasn't got memorable songs in it, because I've been singing songs from The Grinning Man ever since I saw it the other night. So look, this is an absolutely amazing production. Brilliant acting. Just the script itself is just stunning. And it's brave what they have done with the Melbourne cast. Of course, Dia, the character, is blind. So they actually use a blind actress to play the young Dia, called Lily Cascan. So it's a brave production. It is an amazing production. And I hope this sees more big things for this theatre company, because this is an absolutely amazing production to be in Melbourne. I don't know what else to say except for this is just brilliant, funny, great in an old-fashioned way. That's the only way I can say it. But look, go along and check out the Grinning Man, because this is theatre at its very best, and this is theatre the way that theatre is supposed to be. Go and see the Grinning Man. It's on now at the Alex Theatre in St Kilda.